The film begins with a scene of Earth 65 million years ago, where prehistoric creatures are living. The dinosaurs are ruling this era. Suddenly, they all sense danger coming from the sky. Various spacecraft, gigantic weapons, modern technology of an advanced civilization, referred to as the creators, arrive to invade Earth. Back to the present, scientist Darcy travels to the Arctic to study and research, discovering a frozen dinosaur millions years ago. Cade, an electrical engineer in Texas, goes to a small town to meet a friend and repair an old castle filled with ancient things from his ancestors. Cade is particularly interested in an old truck and decides to buy it. Perhaps it's the source of the events to come. Inside the red truck, his beautiful daughters are running through cornfields, including Tessa, Cade's daughter. On the TV screen, images of a battle with heavy casualties in Chicago between the military and the Autobots 5 years ago are shown. Cade and his friend got back home with an old truck. They talked about how to use it. Inside, there were lots of Cade's stuff, music players, recorders, and inventions nobody cared about. This caused money problems, and Cade's house was almost sold. There was tension between him and his dad, typical of teenage rebellion. It's tough for Cade, with her strict dad. The military approached an abandoned ship, showing signs of Autobot activity. They mobilized a large force and advanced modern combat equipment, preparing for a tense fight. Inside, a green Autobot dodged the bullets of the special forces, trying to explain that it came to deliver Optimus's message to humanity. Before either side could cease fire, another Autobot, Lockdown, likely the main antagonist, attacked the Autobot, creating chaos. The military, despite not fully understanding the situation, focused all firepower on Lockdown. His objective was to find Optimus, ruthlessly killing the Autobot when it refused to answer his questions. Lockdown seemed to be cooperating with the U.S. government to hunt down former Autobots. He transformed into a luxurious Lamborghini and drove away. Cade and his friend discovered that the old truck was the famous Optimus, who was badly injured and needed treatment. They planned to report to the government to claim a reward, making Optimus very angry. Cade reassured Optimus and promised to treat his wounds. Meanwhile, at the North Pole, Lockdown met with a U.S. government official named Attinger, expressing his desire to capture Optimus for trial. Eventually, Optimus's location was revealed, and a large force, including special forces and military, gathered outside Cade's house. And an officer approached Cade's daughter to ask about the truck's location. To their surprise, Optimus had vanished without a trace. Just as the CIA officers were about to withdraw, Cade's friend unintentionally revealed a clue. The officer quickly seized Cade's daughter to threaten him to reveal Optimus's location. After hearing this, Optimus couldn't bear to see Cade's family in danger, so he suddenly transformed and rushed to rescue Cade's daughter. A missile struck Cade's house, causing chaos as Cade, his father, and his friend fled. They were assisted by a handsome young man, unexpectedly Cade's future son-in-law, who skillfully drove and avoided the military's damage. Meanwhile, Lockdown relentlessly pursued Optimus, who fought back while protecting Cade's family. In an abandoned building, Lockdown cornered Optimus and Cade's family, forcing them to make a daring escape by detonating the truck and jumping down. Fortunately, they succeeded and fled with Optimus. At a small gas station, Optimus and Cade exchanged a few words before Optimus decided to part ways with Cade's family, transforming into a truck and driving off. After they got to safety, Cade was really mad and didn't want to accept his daughter's boyfriend, even though he wasn't clueless and had proven himself. That night, when Cade sent out the spy drone, he saw that many innocent Autobots had been killed. The bad guys group sent someone to the ATM where Cade was going to get money for information, but Optimus was already there, picking up Cade's family and leaving. Optimus changed his appearance and drove them to a valley to meet up with his Autobot friends. They were all excited to see their leader again. Optimus transformed back and told the team about the dangerous situation. He introduced Cade's family as his heroes. Cade showed a video from the drone, revealing Lockdown and a bad group called KSI. Optimus promised to come back and help, even though he promised not to hurt humans. On the morning of the big day, Optimus led his team to the KSI headquarters. When they arrived, everyone didn't rush into action but instead snatched a few things to prepare for battle. Inside the lab, Director Joshua was showing his underlings a miraculous material he found in the North Pole that could change into anything. Below was the workshop where he made Autobots, and he was really mad at his staff because the products did not meet his requirements. He even captured an Autobot named Zen to learn about Megatron and other deceased robots, aiming to create the most advanced robot army. Outside the headquarters, Cade copied an employee badge. Bumblebee drove Cade and his future son-in-law successfully into KSI. They saw a lot of high-tech robot cars. Joshua and his staff, along with his secretary, were discussing work when they ran into Cade. After scolding Cade, Joshua left. Joshua talked to Attinger and forced him to give him the seed. At that time Cade had disguised himself as an employee and entered the manufacturing plant. He used the spy drone to film the assembly of the Autobots. Meanwhile, Optimus had started his own plan outside. Attinger spotted Cade and ordered his men to catch him. Although Cade managed to escape for a while, he was eventually invited to the office for tea and snacks. Attinger tempted Cade, saying that if he revealed Optimus's location, he would help him and his family live comfortably without worries. Meanwhile, Optimus and his team stormed into KSI. Bumblebee broke through the main door, while Optimus led the others to attack other entrances. It was chaotic. Bumblebee quickly rescued Cade outside, while downstairs, Optimus and his team were excitedly causing chaos. When they met Joshua, Optimus straightforwardly told him that Autobots weren't weapons or property, they were his friends. Attinger urged Joshua to capture them all, so Joshua activated Galvatron, his new generation of fighting robot. Galvatron wreaked havoc, destroying everything in his path. He fired a missile at Optimus. The other Autobots dodged his attacks neatly. Galvatron went crazy, attacking everything in sight. Bumblebee transformed and jumped over a bridge with Optimus. He quickly aimed his gun at Galvatron, but Galvatron transformed into liquid metal, easily moved through obstacles, much to Bumblebee's disbelief. He fired some missiles at Optimus and finally hit him. Optimus and Galvatron fiercely fought, with Optimus thrusting a sword through Galvatron, but it had no effect. Suddenly, from afar, a team with a giant spaceship, led by Lockdown, appeared. Things were getting serious. Lockdown said a few words to Optimus and then released a net to capture Optimus and take him back to the Creator. Cade ran after them, trying to save his trapped daughter, but with a human power, he fell straight down below. The plane landed on the spaceship, and Lockdown personally escorted Optimus inside, while Cade's daughter was taken to the junkyard by large robot arms. Inside, Optimus was hung upside down by Lockdown, in a terrible situation. The ship slowly descended to pick up Attinger's underlings to collect the seed. Bumblebee took Cade and his son-in-law close to the spaceship, and the whole group managed to get inside. Inside, Lockdown had captured Optimus and was ready to return. Optimus's team made it inside the ship and decided to split up to rescue people. With only a few minutes left before the ship left Earth, Crosshairs moved through the machines and pulled a lever, causing the ship to anchor to the buildings below. Lockdown, aware of the intrusion, sent his dogs to deal with the intruders. Tessa was still alone, scared, and running away. Cade and Shane found themselves in a dark place and accidentally touched a giant sword, causing the structure around them to change. It turned out to be Lockdown's weapons arsenal. They each chose their favorite weapon and started fighting. After a dangerous encounter, Cade understood how the weapon worked and knocked out Lockdown's minions. Finally, Cade found Tessa, but she was too infatuated with her boyfriend to notice her father next to her. Meanwhile, the Autobots had made their way deep inside to find their leader. Hound was attacked by a slimy spider, which he thought was acid but turned out to be spit. Embarrassed, Hound shot and killed the disgusting spider. Suddenly, the team heard Optimus's voice, and everyone was happy. He ordered Hound to pilot a small spaceship away from the main one. Below, Cade's family managed to escape and tried to climb down a chain to safety. But when Tessa hesitated to climb, fearing the thin rope, Lockdown's dogs approached. Cade and Shane shot down a few, but not all, causing the family to fall. Luckily, Bumblebee appeared and jumped down to save them. Crosshairs piloted the mini-spaceship to pick everyone up, but behind them were dozens of spaceships chasing them. Crosshairs, angry, instructed Cade and Shane on how to pilot the spaceship and shoot, while he jumped into the air, pulling out his gun to shoot down the enemy ships on both sides. Cade and his son-in-law also managed to pilot the spaceship and use the guns, shooting down a few planes. The tension rose as the air filled with the smell of gunpowder. Cade skillfully maneuvered the spaceship, dodging a bridge and taking down 2 enemy planes, while Bumblebee emerged from below to destroy the enemies. Above, Lockdown was preparing to start the ship. The whole group met at a location where Optimus revealed that the one fighting against him was Megatron. He discovered that KSI used Megatron's head and mind to create a new robot called Galvatron. Galvatron wanted to build seeds in major cities to form an army. Cade called Joshua to explain that Megatron was behind everything. He manipulated Joshua and wanted to use the seeds to destroy everything. Then, both Optimus's team and Cade's family headed to KSI headquarters in Hong Kong, where Attinger called to hand over the seeds to Joshua. But Joshua refused, making Attinger angry. Meanwhile, Galvatron woke up and powered up his dormant army, ordering them to get the seeds immediately. Joshua and his secretary quickly left with the seeds. On the spaceship, Optimus and Cade had a conversation. Optimus was disappointed in what humans had done. Cade said he had treated and helped Optimus for nothing and begged him to save the world. On one side, Joshua and his secretary ran away from Galvatron to a marketplace. Using her skills, the secretary helped Joshua hide, leading him to a building where she placed Joshua and the seeds in an elevator. Then, she skillfully dealt with KSI's minions on her own. Meanwhile, the young man in the elevator helped them defeat the toughest guy. The secretary took Joshua to the rooftop to hide. Below, Galvatron led his minions to the neighborhood to search for the seeds. Joshua looked up and saw a spaceship with Cade reaching out to him. Megatron noticed and shot at the spaceship, causing everyone to fall out. He ordered his minions to chase them. Finger saw the seeds had been shot down by Hound and happily fired at Megatron's minions while smoking. Attinger seized the opportunity to attack Cade but found only a beautiful woman in the elevator. Joshua managed to escape downstairs. Upstairs, Cade couldn't fight back against Savoy and fell. Then, Savoy pushed Cade into a house. Cade bravely resisted and pushed Savoy down, causing him to drop his knife. Cade then pushed him off the building. Joshua also reached Bumblebee and Hound's location. On the other side, Optimus entered the spaceship, pulled out a knight's sword, and then opened the cages to awaken the Dinobot warriors. Then, Optimus battled with an ancient Dinobot warrior, which transformed into a giant, fire-breathing dinosaur attacking Optimus. Optimus skillfully dodged, counterattacked sharply, and finally knocked out the beast from prehistoric times. The other Dinobots also transformed into ancient dinosaur robots and, following Optimus's orders, quickly moved toward the city. The battle was intense, and Optimus's team seemed to be at a disadvantage, almost on the brink of destruction. Hound fought until he ran out of ammunition and had to resort to hand-to-hand combat, needing support from Cade, Joshua, and waiting for reinforcements to arrive. Finally, Optimus's troops arrived. He led the charge, breaking through all obstacles. The ancient dinosaur robots also took down many of Megatron's minions. Megatron, seeing his army almost wiped out, panicked and tried to escape. Meanwhile, up above, Bee and Finger were battling it out on a metal bird, fighting midair, then crashing onto the roof of a building, and then onto the streets, causing significant damage to many vehicles. Bee swiftly sliced Finger in half before he could react. Meanwhile, Joshua approached Optimus to apologize for his actions. Optimus instructed everyone to take the seed to the top of the hill. At this moment, Lockdown realized his mistake and turned the ship back. The ship acted like a giant magnet, pulling almost everything in the city towards it before dropping them all to the ground. Even the Dinobots were dragged away by the intense magnetic force from the spaceship. They couldn't resist and were almost sucked onto Lockdown's ship. Lockdown, jumping out of the spaceship, started shooting around, heading towards Optimus. Both of them engaged in fierce combat. Cade wanted to help but was attacked by Attinger and threatened at gunpoint. Optimus, after knocking down Lockdown, noticed Attinger and shot him dead. But in a moment of vulnerability, Lockdown stabbed Optimus with a sword while he was down. Seeing this, Cade quickly grabbed a gun and shot Lockdown to buy time. Bumblebee arrived just in time to attack Lockdown, with assistance from Cade, buying time for Shane and Tessa to drive the old truck and pull the sword out of Optimus. Before Lockdown could strike Cade, Optimus pulled the sword out and struck him down, splitting him in half. His minions, witnessing this, went berserk and rushed in for revenge. Optimus set off a grenade and grabbed Cade's family, running away. Megatron, observing from above, quietly gathered his remaining forces and left. Optimus landed on a riverside. Everyone was safe, hugging each other tightly. Cade had accepted his daughter's relationship with Shane. Optimus declared that the Dinobots were now free to find their own lives. The beautiful secretary also went to find Joshua. Optimus held the seed and said he would hide it where no one could find it, gazing silently at the stars. Before leaving, he instructed the Autobots to stay and protect Cade's family. Everyone looked at each other, feeling closer after enduring a fierce battle together. At the end of the movie, he flew alone into endless space with the familiar phrase, "I am Optimus Prime, and I am returning to the Creator." The movie ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like.